Hey guys, I'm Rich from NeoWin. Today we're unboxing the Acer Swift 3. So, this comes in 13.3 inch, 14 inch, and 15.6 inch models. The one they sent me is the 13.3 inch one. This retails for $899. It has a Core i7 8555U. It has 8 gigs of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage. So what's cool about it is that it weighs in at 2.87 pounds. I'm actually just excited about it because I'm reviewing an Acer. I haven't reviewed an Acer. Lots of companies send me laptops. Obviously those that follow my reviews know that I get a lot from Lenovo. There's a bunch of HPs, some Dells, Microsoft, Huawei, but this is actually the first time that I'm reviewing an Acer. So I'm just excited about that. But weighs in at 2.87 pounds, so it's really light. It's thin. It is 0.63 inches thin. So let's get this open. And yeah, I used to own an Acer laptop. That's why I'm particularly excited to review an Acer. Oh, there's more tape on this than I anticipated. Let's just cut this open. All right. One, two. All right, it comes right open. Just going to get this return label out of here. All right, what do we got in the box? We have a laptop, as you can probably guess. Ooh, this feels light. Feels very light. It's funny. It's funny that if you use different laptops, some of them are lighter and feel heavier. Some of them are heavier, feel lighter. Like 2.87 pounds is light. It's thin. It's not the lightest in the world. There's definitely lighter laptops out there, but this does feel very light. So we have our charging cable in here. This just kind of comes apart, and it is just one cable pin charger, unfortunately. I prefer everything to come with USB Type-C. Let's see if we can find the wattage on here. So this is actually a 45 watt charger, and it is all one piece. I'm going to try to never use it because, for one thing, when I get new laptops, I do try to keep the chargers in the box. It makes things easier to send back when I'm done with them. But and I just have so many chargers lying around. But they're USB Type-C chargers, so as long as I can charge this through USB Type-C, which there is a Type-C port over here, we should be good to go. It says plenty of ports for what it is. Wow, USB Type A. Let's see if we have it on the list. These are USB. Okay, we got a USB 3.0 port, and we have a USB 2.0 port. So this is a 3.0 port over here. You can tell because it's blue. HDMI, HDMI out. That is. USB 3.1 Type C. Headphone jack, and there's that pin power port over there. All right, let's take a closer look here. You know what's funny in setting this up? The keyboard feels weird to me. And the reason that it feels weird to me is because Acer doesn't send me stuff to review, and I'm so excited to be working with them. And, it's like if you review a ThinkPad, and then you review the next one, the keyboard feels the same, at least similar. Same thing with HP's, when you have the Spectre keyboard, the EliteBook keyboard, or Dell's, like the keyboard feels similar across the board always. And just getting a PC from a brand that I'm not used to reviewing, it feels foreign somehow. I don't, it feels good. The keyboard is backlit. Press this key right here. The keyboard lights up. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but it does. Well, we're going to leave it on for now. See what kind of time it takes for it to go off. But yeah, it feels good. It's just I don't know, man. When you type on enough keyboards and then you use one that's different, that subtle difference, like it's like I feel it. I don't know. I guess I just review a lot of keyboards. So on this side over here, like I said, pin charger, USB 2.0 Type A port, 3.5 millimeter headset jack, and a micro SD slot. So a couple things on this side. You do need a pin to get out the micro SD. I'm not a fan of that design. I wish it just had the slot so you could pop one in and pop one out because, if you have a digital camera with an SD card in it, it's a micro SD card with an adapter, which is what I often use. You might want to take it out of your camera and just pop it in there. And we don't always have one of those pins with us. It's not something that's in our device all the time. Yeah, I don't love that design. I don't love that there's a USB 2.0 port. I think that no one should ever use USB 2.0. And I don't know that anybody actually knows that, like the average consumer, do they know that if they plug something into the blue port, it's going to be faster than in the black port there. So on this side over here, we have USB 3.0 Type A, USB 3.1 Gen 1 Type C, and HDMI. I'm not sure why spec sheets say USB 3.1 Gen 1 and USB 3.0. They are pretty much the same thing, 5 gigabits per second. USB 2.0 is like in the hundreds of megabits per second. Like there's a big difference between 2.0 and 3.0 or 3.1 Gen 1. So honestly, I'd rather just have the one Type A port, just leave out the 2.0 port, but I guess it is what it is. Maybe if you have a USB mouse that you want to plug in, you plug that into the 2.0 port, and then if you have something more important that needs faster data transfer speeds, you plug it into the 3.0 port. The display, I love the display. This is 1080p, but it's a matte anti-glare display. No touch in this model, which is kind of a bummer. Not a big deal. I appreciate touch in all devices, but I don't. It doesn't lose points for not having touch, because obviously there are plenty of clamshells that don't have touch screens. But I love the colors are very vibrant. When you have matte anti-glare displays like this, they can look a little washed out. This one does not. I've seen something like this on one of HP's Elite books that I've reviewed recently. It's very nice. The colors look very vibrant, and it's not glossy at all. I like this display a lot. So if we take a look at some of the pre-installed apps, I don't see an Acer app for installing firmware, which no internet connection. We're just... And interestingly, the Wi-Fi driver seems to have crashed because I can't connect to the internet right now. So I'm just going to reboot this, but I'm not cutting that part out of the video because it is important that people see that the Wi-Fi driver crashed. All right, we're back finally, and Wi-Fi is connected. Look at that. Yeah, so let's take a look at Acer Collection S, which doesn't sound any sexier than regular Acer Collection, to be honest. We'll let that load. Take a look at what else is in here, though. Acer product registration, Acer documents, Acer legal information. There's nothing there that screams, this is where you go to get firmware updates, which is kind of cool because this stuff, it should come from Windows Update. HP, Lenovo, Dell, and Huawei all put their own software on so that you can install firmware updates from them rather than through Windows Update. So it'll be really cool if Acer Collection S doesn't turn out to be where I get my firmware updates. And it's taken a while on my 300 megabit per second internet connection, so we'll keep looking. There's some bloatware on here, which is mostly from Microsoft, like Candy Crush. That stuff just comes with Windows. Booking.com, I'm guessing that's a partner app. I don't know what you guys think. Yeah, so moving on, there's some other stuff in here. Hearts Deluxe, LinkedIn, Microsoft Solitaire Collection. A lot of it from Microsoft. Netflix is from Microsoft. Norton Security, that's from Acer. Terrible. I haven't seen Norton Security in a while. I've seen McAfee a lot. Honestly, any pre-installed antivirus, just get rid of it. Windows Defender does a great job, and just don't click on shady links. It's pretty simple. Photo Director for Acer, Power Director for Acer. All right, Quick Access, Simple Mahjong, Simple Solitaire, Spades. So now we're looking at stuff that's coming from Acer because Microsoft didn't put Simple Solitaire on here. Microsoft uses Microsoft Solitaire Collection. Wild Tangent Games. I haven't seen that in years. I used to see that I think a lot on HP laptops. Wow, that's getting uninstalled though. If that's not, by the way, pretty much everything I just mentioned is getting uninstalled. But this comes signed into an Acer account, and I'm going to reset it, sign in with my own Microsoft account and such. It's pretty easy to deal with. That's kind of a one-time thing. I don't care as much about bloatware as I used to because most of them are UWP apps, easy enough to three-click uninstall and they're just gone. You know, you're not leaving a bunch of crap behind. Let's see, start. Oh no, this is just apps that it wants you to install. Ah, that's really what this is. Like it's suggesting Netflix, even though that's on here. It is kind of a mess. And I think we can all admit that a lot of the Windows 10 setup experience is kind of a mess in between, like, Microsoft getting into the game of pushing these bloatware apps on you, and then obviously OEMs also want to push apps on you. This is a lot, though. I have to say, Acer did put a lot more third-party apps on here than I'm seeing from other companies right now. This is a $900 device. It's not a $500 device where they're subsidizing costs. It's got an i7, 8 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of storage. I don't see any reason why all of this stuff actually needs to be on here. But the hardware itself seems pretty solid. We have a fingerprint sensor over here. A nice trackpad. It is kind of a small fingerprint sensor, so I'm going to spend some time with that, see how well it works. No IR camera for Windows Hello, that's fine. There's a webcam above the display over here. And yeah, that's the Acer Swift 3. It's all aluminum. Not the sexiest. I gotta say, for aluminum laptops, it's pretty sexy. You know, aluminum laptops have this reputation of being MacBook clones. So you get that basic aluminum look, and it doesn't look that good anymore. It looks generic. I don't think this looks completely generic like I've seen from some other devices. I think it looks pretty good. I think it's a cool device to carry around. I love the chrome Acer logo on top. It's a nice looking device. So just by looking at it, my biggest complaint is all the bloatware that's installed. Obviously, I'm going to remove it all. And none of it should be all that hard to remove. Bloatware is not that hard to remove. You just uninstall the software. It does kind of leave crap behind. You also have options. You can install Clean Windows 10. You know, Microsoft does make the media creation tool, so you can get a fresh copy of Windows 10. You can download the drivers from Acer's website, but you should be fine just getting rid of the stuff that's there. And, you know, Norton Antivirus is what I'm going to get rid of. All those games and stuff, you know, and we'll see how that goes. The other complaint is obviously that it has a USB 2.0 port. Like this is a $900 PC. It does have a Core i7. It has 512 gig SSD, which is great. So you are getting a lot for $900, but there are some things here that I don't expect to see in a laptop of this price point. And that's like, you know, the third-party software, the USB 2.0 port. And I expect it to ship with the USB Type-C charger. But that's okay because I like the hardware itself. And the hardware is really what matters because software, you can overhaul software. You can, you know, you can ignore a USB 2.0 port. Some of my favorite laptops don't have any USB Type-A ports. So I'm probably, like, in my personal usage of this device, I'm not going to care about USB 2.0. I don't know that most people will because as long as you know to use the blue port, you're good, because who is even using two Type-A ports at a time? And if you are using two Type-A ports at a time, one of them is probably, like I said, for a USB mouse or for charging your phone, and USB 2.0 is fine for those types of things, you know? So I do love the display. The 1080p display, the matte anti-glare display looks phenomenal to me. So I'll have more on this. I'll have a review in a couple weeks, so stay tuned for that. I'm Rich from NeoWin. Have a great night.